Folks, Bulavinaka. This is
Hello.
yeah, this is Ho'ikaika, and of course, my friend today actually hails from the islands of Fiji, and it's really cool. I've known this gentleman since 2001, back in college at Brigham Young University, and he was one of the guys that got me real privy to Fijian culture. We did some Polynesian dance numbers together too. We performed at the Olympics together. That was crazy, the Winter Olympics. But the cool thing, many cool things, but one interesting thing was, and I never told you this, Victor. So my dad studied industrial relations, which is a different title, which would be called organizational behavior now. And when you told me that that's what your master's program was, that caught my attention. I was like, hey, dude, that's what my dad got into, and he would work as a consultant for businesses, trying to get people performing at the optimal levels, and whatnot. And so when you were doing that master's program and I found out about it, it got me interested in that. And so, fast forward to now, 2 decades later, now I get a chance to interview you and talk story about your profession and what you do. But folks, you're in for a treat today. I'm going to shut up so Brother Victor can talk about himself and tells us what he does. So, ladies and gentlemen, here we go with Victor Narsimulu. Go ahead, brother.
Hey, Gavon, I'm on your channel and talk about a little about myself and my journey and my talano, my story. And my name is Victor Narsimulu. I hail from Fiji. I'm from a small island north of Fiji called Rotuman. And so in Rotuman, we say Noa e Maori. And we, as in Fiji, we say Bulavinaka. In Rotuman, we also say Noa e Maori as a greeting word. And Noa e Maori basically means good life to you, just like Bulavinaka, just like aloha. And so it's an honor to come on your channel and kind of talk a little about myself. I kind of want to talk not only about myself, but I want to talk about how I got here. I grew up in Fiji and had an opportunity to serve my church, a 2-year mission for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And it was during my mission where in anthropology. And I was a missionary up Nepal, north of India. I was a missionary up there. And there was a missionary who was an anthropologist, an older gentleman, and he kind of got me excited about cultures and about the study of culture, the study of knowledge, and the study of indigeneity. And so I decided to apply to college, and I applied to college and got into BYU, Hawaii. And so that's where my educational journey started, at Brigham Young University in Laie. And I was a student of cultural anthropology along with Pacific Islander studies. And so I basically, my interest was understanding the epistemologies of the Pacific, how we know what we know. And where does this knowledge come from? Because I'm pretty sure growing up in an education system that was practically a colonial education system, a British system of education, there were things that I learned at home that wasn't taught at the schools. And there were times in schools they were told to only speak English, and English was the language that was revered and was seen as the practical language, when there were other things I learned at home. With speaking different languages, I was able to, broaden my perspective of life, and especially stories that were told to me growing up. I grew up with my mom, my sisters, my aunties, grandmas, A lot of times, I was always fascinated by stories, and these were traditional indigenous stories. And none of these stories, now that I think about it, none of these stories talked about being a second class citizen, about not being the best in anything I did. If there was a story about a legend about a warrior who lived in this village and he threw a um, a spear into space and in the skies, and every now and then when you'd see the shooting star, that was a reminder inside the story. That was a reminder of that warrior, that the great Thor that threw that spear to the into space. Of course, I knew that it couldn't be true, but the meaning behind it, I was able to figure out later on in life that it meant more than just the story. It meant that you could do anything you wanted to do, even throwing that spear into. And these are stories that you tell your kids before social media came in, before TV came in, and Hollywood and all of that. These are the stories that people tell their kids around the fireplace, that you could be anything you wanted to be. And living in the largest ocean in the world that holds it holds practically 2/3 of the 1/3 of the world. It's 1/3 of the world ocean, and to be able to navigate and travel around the Pacific, you needed stories like these, the grandeur stories that would encourage people. And around the fire, when they'd sit down and talk story and talanoa, the stories were about you could do anything you wanted to. And we did not minimize the way we lived. We weren't just, and Epeli Hau'ofa, a Tongan scholar that I got to learn about in college, and still a great mentor in terms of the work he's done. He talked about in his work that we're not just islands in the sea. We are a sea of islands. The ocean is our home, the island is our home, and there's thousands of us. When you minimize island in the sea, it becomes just one small island. But when you talk about it as we're a sea of islands, we've existed, and we discovered the largest area in the world in the shortest time, using technology, using human innovation in terms of how we voyaged, in terms of our canoes, in terms of understanding the celestial bodies, the celestial navigation. And at the same time, these knowledges and intelligences were passed through stories. And that's why going back to storytelling, has always been something that I've always appreciated. And when I hear stories, it really, and I try and make time to tell stories to my kids today, in a time and age where social media and takes majority of a kid's time. And so I think the more stories we tell, even though we don't, I live on the mainland. I live in Utah, away from the islands, away from the Vanua, the Hanua, Fonua, the Aina. But at the same time, I know that we take our cultures with us. It's not. Yes, it's a place. There's sacred places that we call home. That we call where our families that come from. But at the same time, I was told by an elder once that you take home with you wherever you go. And when you're up there in the classrooms, make sure you're up front and center, because nothing in our stories talks about being a second-class citizen. Nothing in our story about sitting at the back, which is it's a uh, uh, misrepresent being in a lot of Pacific Islander cultures in on the mainland. We think it's not a cool thing to sit in the back. It's if whatever you do, you have to be up front and center. No, and yes, there's going to be ups and downs. Yeah, I mean, I still go through challenges today. It's I'm half a century now, almost there, about a year to go. But I still go through. I'm still learning. I still have to check myself every morning when I wake up. When I wake up in the morning, I got to check myself and see what I can do better, and how I can improve. And so that's a little about myself. I grew up in a single parent home. My mom, Valesi Rosarini, Narsimulu, she's still living she lives in Fiji with my siblings, some of my siblings in Fiji. She's 84 years old, and I'm reminded every day when I wake up in the morning that I'm grateful for what I have, and I'm grateful for people that have gone before me and the people that gave me this life, my mom, my grandparents, and I try and do my best. It's there's challenges out there, but I try and do my best with my kids and the community that I work with, students that I work with. Every morning when I show up, every day when I'm at school, I make sure that I'm ready, that I've prepared to offer my best to my students, to the community that I work with, to the church that I'm still part of. And so that's a little about myself, Gavon.
Awesome, brother. Thank you, man. I had a question for you. I know you talked about storytelling and you enjoy that so much. Is that the reason why you got involved with Polynesian dancing, because of the storytelling that and the traditions that go along with that?
Yes, and that's I was always excited about dancing growing up, and I danced as a kid growing up. When we had events, and so I wasn't shy. Let's put it that way. I was always there were people that I grew up with. They were shy. Even my siblings, they were shy to go up front. But I always loved to be up front and center when it came to dancing, traditional dancing, cultural dancing. And I think a lot of it had to do with the hype, and the spirit that was felt when certain songs played, and we know that there's mana in not only and there's stories in our dances, and then when we dance those certain dances, that mana is awakened, and these lyrics, if you listen to the lyrics of these songs or these chants, they talk about they're imbued with blessings. They're imbued with the power to heal. They wrote these songs because they went through. There's a story to a song. They went through something, and then they put the lyrics together and they blessed the song. And as the song was blessed, and as we perform the songs today, and we listen to the lyrics, we listen to the beat, the beat of the drum, the heartbeat of what the song means. It heals us. And so, when I was in college at the Polynesian Cultural Center, I performed at the Polynesian Cultural Center. Then I later on came to BYU, danced with the living legends, and was honored to dance along Gavon at the Olympics, at the Winter Olympics. And then with my background in cultural anthropology and then into organizational behavior and education and educational anthropology, I decided to, and I got this, I first worked I was hired at UVU. I worked with a program called, it was a federal grants program. And then I got this opening at the multicultural office, and it was to come in and run a leadership program, a culture-based leadership program using dance and art. And so I started this program from scratch, and I was blessed to have some elders, some kupunas, some mentors, kind of, who had set the stage for me. So when I came in, I was able to put together a curriculum and put together a program that where the students could still come and be who they wanted to be. They didn't have to take their regalia off when they came to university. They wore their regalia on campus. They wore this. It's a culture-based leadership program. Students, there's an academic a component to it, where when they participate in my program, they also get a distinction from the university. They have to take certain classes, so it's tied academically to the cultural things we do. It's not just an after-school afterthought program. Oh yeah, you want to do your cultural thing? We'll give you some time after school. No, this is during school. They get to practice the dances. They get to learn the dances. They come up with these dances, and they learn. They find out from elders where these dances come from, and they're able to be at a university setting, still do the cultural dances, still do the chants, still practice these dances, and understand the stories in these dances, and so far the data has shown that when these students, when we validate student experiences outside the classroom, we bring it into the classroom, into the school setting, we validate student cultures and student stories, and students get to self-reflect in terms of how these things help them. Students get to stay in school longer, and that's something that we've seen in terms of some of the learning outcomes from our programming, is that our students perform better in the school, perform better in the classes, not because it's I mean, statistics is, for example, is a tough class to take, not because they're really excited about statistics. There may be students out there really excited about statistics, but it's because they're doing it with a group, with a family. It's a family home away from home experience, and so that's something that I'm part of at Utah Valley University, and it's really a privilege to have leaders at Utah Valley University who have encouraged us and who funded us. We would love to have others out there who are watching, if they want to find out more about a program and help in any way they could to make this program grow. We're still a program that's not a traditional program. We're like any other program that struggles with funding, and to make sure that our students get what they want. We make sure that our students get into the communities. We make sure that the students get into all this work they do. They get to share with the communities they come from. And so that's something, and the top experiences they have as their cultures are validated. They feel like their experiences are validated, and as they talk to, it's called a near peer experience. Students listen to someone that's nearer to their age group than older bald guys like us, and it's because it makes sense. You have students who are removed from high school 2 years or 1 year from high school. They're able to relate to each other better. And when they talk about their stories about how to navigate through high school and through college, it really resonates with these students. So that's something. I hope that I answered your question, Gavon. I think I went off a little bit.
No, brother, that was terrific. I applaud you for doing that, man. I know it's not easy to start a program and get the curriculum together and get it going and to motivate people to sign up. If people wanted to sign up, how would they go about doing that? Is there like contact information? Would they reach out to you? How would
Yes. So the program is called Cultural Envoy Leadership Program, and if you Google that on and you'll come up with UVU Cultural Envoy Leadership Program, and there's an application process, and we don't turn anyone away. It's a all-inclusive program. Anyone can join the program. Either, and the cultures we have are Pacific Islander cultures, Latinx culture, Latino cultures. We have African diaspora cultures. We have Asian cultures, and then we have Native American cultures. So these are the 5 sections we have, and of course, not all. It's the general section, but we know that there's so many different Pacific Islander cultures out there, and so many different dances, and so it depends on who we have as students in our sections. They kind of navigate in terms of what dances they'll do. And so, for example, right now, my Pacific Islander section leaders are both Kamehameha High School grads, who are both Native Hawaiian, and they have, there's some of the dances that they've brought in are Native Hawaiian dances. They've done Tahitian dancing, and then we've brought in some elders to teach some of the Fijian dances, and so Tongan dances. So it all depends. It's really a student-run program. All we do, students, and that's what is unique about this program, is that the students are able to they have their sections, they work with the sections. We have practices. We also have the academic side of things, where we do a monthly grade checks to make sure that they're on track to in the academic side of things. And these students, they become part of this program. They not only do things together on campus, but they're engaged in doing things off campus. They become a family, and so that's and I love what I do. It's something that this is my hope is that one of these students will be, when I'm done with this job, they'll continue this program, because it's a very unique program on the mainland, where where culture is still academically part of student experience at the university level.
That's freaking awesome, bro. Seriously, like anything that allows perpetuation of indigenous cultures, man, I'm a huge fan of, bro. So that's awesome that you're doing that. You've achieved a lot of success, and with all the things that you've been able to do, with your family. I know your wife very well too. Having children, having your career, and juggling all these different things. What is some advice you would like to give some of our fellow island men that are maybe struggling out there, dealing with stress, dealing with issues that they're going through? What are some tidbits of advice would you like to give them?
And I'm not a professional in terms of any in terms of stress or depression and all of that, but in terms of our Pacific Islander men, I think it's important to recognize that we're not Superman, and that's, I think, a common fallacy that we have is that we can run through walls. We can do anything we want to, which is it's going back to that story thing. You know, we're told to be whatever we want to, and we see Pacific Islander men successful in sports and in other things, but at the same time time it's also important to understand that we're human as well. That we have ups and downs. That there's times that a lot of times there's I think it's hard for Pacific Islander men to admit to depression or any kind of stress that we go through. And you know, we're culturally we're told to, you know, hey, just be a man, harden up, and run through the wall. It'll all be good. No, you need to find professionals. You need to find people that can help you. It's if you're going through these things, I my advice is to find people that can help you and find ways to address these things, because at the end of the day, healing is important. If we can't heal for ourselves, it's very hard to help others who are dependent on us. You be in being community based people. We're very communal in everything we do. It's people depend on us. We it's not just our immediate family, but everyone is watching. Everyone, you know, looks up to what we do, and that's sometimes a two-edged sword. You know, one Pacific Islander does something wrong, we all get blamed for it. We all get generalized and stereotyped for it. But I think it's important that we know that, hey, there's help out there. There's ways to heal. There may be traditional ways that you've figured out how to heal in the traditional cultures you come from, the gatherings you do. But find those ways, find those avenues, because it does help to lead yourself to the water. If you're struggling to, and if you can find the strength to get to the well, have someone help you. And that's what I think in my personal life. You know, I still I appreciate the help I have, and I'm grateful for the help I have with my immediate family, my extended family, my Fijian community here in Utah, the boys that I have here, and the strength that they bring to, you know, the get-togethers we have. And if something happens to anyone in the family, anyone's family, everyone's you know, up, getting ready to give, and that's just the Pacific Islander way, our Polynesian way of living, you know, our Pacifica way of living. But at the same time, I think we also need to know that we're not invincible. That there is we want to be invincible. We want to make sure it's okay to cry. It's okay to be humble. It's okay to get emotional, you know, and these things our kids learn from us, especially our sons learn from us. And what we reflect in our way, what we reflect at home is what our sons learn, and will hopefully, if it, you know, that's what they take with them when they grow up and they get married and they have wives and they have children. And so, you know, I grew up in a single parent home. I didn't have a dad growing up, but I had father figures who helped me understand some of these important things. And so I think in my life, I'm grateful for you know, my Savior Jesus Christ, for the things that I've learned through my journey here on earth. You know, and the church support that I have, and overall, you know, it's a journey. And it's not a race, but the journey and the process is important. It takes one step at a time, and a lot of times that step is is you break your ankle, you get up, and but like they say, there's only way to go. Only way to go when you're down is up, and so that's it's a little I could think of right now, Gabon.
Bro, ooh, hit me to the heart right there, brother. Hey, I didn't realize you came from a single parent household too, because I too, like my I don't know if you remember, but my mother passed away when I was really young. I was 10 years old, um and I know being in that kind of situation can be very rough. And I guess we turned out okay, huh? Regardless of the situations we were in. And I kind of want to brag about Victor for a moment, just right now. So, right now you got to know about Victor's spirituality, his academic prowess. This guy, not only is he good with the arts, with performing and dancing and stuff, this guy's a heck of an athlete. And I remember this funny story. I don't know if you remember this, bro. So one time we're performing in Salt Lake. This was in the conference center, and we were performing the Samoan slap dance at a Lapa Lapa. And there was a moment where I think we had to run down the dome backstage and then go around this huge area of like the stadium inside the conference, and then come down the stairs when they played our music. I don't know if you remember doing that, man. Yeah, the crazy sprint that we had to do. I remember us running down the dome to go backstage. And Victor plays rugby, right? So he's agile, big dude, and very agile. It's a dangerous combination. He runs down the dome, and this lady doesn't even look. She just comes right out of the doorway without looking. And my man just jukes right out of the way just in time. And the lady would scream. I remember that lady screamed, and then
Man,
but because of Victor's agility and his athletic ability, he was able to juke out of the way. But we had to run. All of us were running because we had to make that quick costume change or transition into the next number. But do you remember that? Do you remember that at all?
man, I forgot about that. Thanks for reminding me, but I do remember now. Holy smoke, that was a yeah. It was. I mean, we were all running. I don't know if it makes me very athletic, but it was part of the gig, and I know I was competing with some young guys like you guys. Had to get there as quick as me, and there was Gabe there too. Football player, and Gabe Reed. Remember him? Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. Gabe was with us too. I forgot about that.
Yeah, he reminds me of those days all the time. We were dancing one time, and then he came from the back and slapped my back, and I had a red mark on my back. And now he's a mission president in Australia.
Oh my gosh! Wow. Yeah, I guess we are getting old. Hey, brother, you talk about you being older than me. I think you and I are only like 3 years apart, or something like that. 3-4 years apart. So
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Oh
because I'm 46 right now. So
yeah.
yeah, you know pretty close, man. um, no, but seriously,
Oh
brother.
yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
you look 20. Yeah, you still look young. You must be the water in Alakai, huh?
Bro, me, look at you. You still look young too, man. Your skin is not even cracking, no wrinkles, nothing, brother. Brown stays
But
around.
yeah, it's the screen, bro. But yeah, man. Yeah, we're still, we're still here. My wife, and yes, your sister, my wife Mele, and the we got 3 kids. My oldest son right now is on a 2-year service, 2-year missionary work. He's doing a 2-year missionary work for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Jamaica, Kingston, Jamaica. He's a 19-year-old, and then I have a 9-year-old, a third grader, and then we're blessed to have a 2-year-old, and so I'll have to live long to see that kid go through high school. And so and we reside here in Utah, a place called Vineyard. It's Vineyard didn't exist when you were here, Gavon. Vineyard is across Orem. That was all the steel Geneva Steel area. Now they have a new city over there. Yeah, but man, thank you for the opportunity, my brother. Appreciate it, and I want you to know that I learn a lot from you too. That when I read and watch your stuff on social media, it's powerful too. And so, I think we need to give you. I need to applaud you, for the work you do, and our community is big, but it's also small. We're connected, and so thank you for connecting back with me.